Hello there, welcome to the news on Nepal television. I am Rojina Rai, starting with the headlines first. Nepali Congress's ongoing Central Committee meeting of is set to conclude today. Party President Dewa to respond to concerns of central members. Spread of dengue goes unabated across the country with more than 4,000 cases reported. Hospital in Palpa lack test kits to diagnose infection. Russian delegation led by Defense Minister arrived in North Korea to be joined by a Chinese delegation to attend Pinghang's celebrations of the 17th anniversary today. Welcome back. Now we have the news in detail. The meeting of the House of Representatives has been called for 1 p.m. today. And as per the possible agendas unveiled by the Federal Parliament Secretariat, Speaker Devraj Khimiri will read out the details of the letter received from the President's office regarding the assignment of duties. Likewise, Speaker Khimiri will read out the details of the letters received from the Office of the Prime Minister and the Council of Ministers. Minister of Education, Science and Technology Ashok Kumar Rai has an agenda to table to proposal for the National University Bill 2080, which originated in the National Assembly, to be sent to the relevant committee for discussion. The Central Committee meeting of the ruling Nepali Congress is set to conclude today after 6 days of deliberations. Nepali Congress President Sherbahadur Dewa is scheduled to address the concerns raised by the party's Central Committee members during today's meeting. The meeting will begin at the Central Party office in Stanepa at 4 p.m. After the meeting, the decisions endorsed by the Central Committee will be unveiled by organizing a press conference. According to Party Chief of Publicity Department, Min Biswakarma, the Central Committee members put forth their views on party's role in government, a sense of coalition government and intra-party activities. The Nepali Congress's Central Committee meeting is slated to be held every 2 months. However, the meeting is being after the gap of almost 1 year of this time. Now to the further development. The ruling CPN Maoist Center is gearing up to hold its Central Committee meeting on August 2nd. The Central Committee meeting held at the party office Paris Dara this morning made such a decision. Party spokesperson Krishna Bahadur Mahara informed that the Central Committee meeting was discussed in the meeting presided over by the acting president of the party, Narayan Kaji Shrestha. Mahara informed said agendas of the Central Committee will be decided later after holding meetings with party officials. We shall get back with more updates at the side we do have. Stay with us. Time for a short break. Welcome back. You are on Nepal Television News and now the remaining updates. A full bench of the Supreme Court is to hear the case that was registered by questioning the constitutionality of the formation of government in Kosi province today. The hearing has been set for today, citing insufficiency of time on Tuesday to complete hearing over the writ petition. A full bench of apex court justices comprising Ishwari Prasad Khatiwara, Ananda Mohan Bhattrai and Til Prasad Shrestha was hearing the case. It may be noted that a divisional bench of the Supreme Court justices Sushma Lata Mathema and Til Prasad Shrestha on Monday had issued an order to hear the case in full bench. Ex-Chief Minister of Kosi Province Hikmat Bahadur Karki on July 7th had registered a writ petition at the apex court challenging the constitutionality of the Chief Minister's appointment process in Kosi province. On a preliminary hearing over the writ, a single bench of Supreme Court Justice Sapana Malla Pradhan on July 12th had issued an order in the name of the Kosi province. Likewise, government has said not to carry out any work with far-reaching impact and furnish reply in writing. Now we have another update. The spread of dengue infection has turned out to be an endemic across the country lately. Following the rise report, dengue-infected patients has reached more than 4,000 as of now. Until 15th of July, 2,930 dengue-infected patients was reported. And this way, as per the data, Kosi province has seen as the most affected province with record high numbers of infected patients with 2,700 numbers of patients. Bagmati 776, Gandaki 344, Sudurpasi province 316, Lumbini 166, Madhya province 22 and Karnali 20. Out of total districts, 10 districts are reported to be most affected with 3,671 patients. Of them, Sunsari has recorded over 254 dengue patients, Thading 40, Kaski 20 and Darchula 190. Likewise, Kathmandu 80, Sankhwasava 64, Magdi 45, Kanchanpur 52, Rupandhi 45 and Morang 38 recorded so far. According to the Director of Epidemiology and Disease Control Division Rudra Prasad Marasini, maintenance and implementation of cleanliness and hygiene protocol has been ignorant as there has been continuous rainfall since past week. Meanwhile, hospitals in Lumbini districts and district hospitals have seen crowd in dengue patients. Patients having similar symptoms of dengue in the hospital for the treatment also are increasing lately. Meanwhile, with the rise of dengue infection, dengue kit has not been sufficient to address the challenges in the district. Also, denizens are forced to get a service from private hospitals as hospitals led by government have been passive. Now we have updates from international frontline. A Russian delegation led by Defense Minister Sergei Shoigu has arrived in North Korea to be joined by a Chinese delegation later on Wednesday. They will attend the Pyongyang celebration of the 70th anniversary of the end of the Korean War, marked typically by massive military parades. The visits are the first to North Korea since the country shut its borders in a bid to keep out the pandemic. It is unclear if this signals a change in Pyongyang's border policies. The reclusive North Korea had sealed the country off from all trade and diplomatic ties in early 2020, even with Russia and China, which are its main economic and political partners. We still have more international headliners at the side. Stay with us. Time for a short break again. Welcome back. Thank you for staying with us. Now the remaining international headliners. More than 40 people have died, most of them in Algeria, in the Mediterranean wildfires threatening villages and holiday resorts, and thousands have been evacuated. Greece is preparing for more evacuation flights from Rhodes, as the fires also rage on the island of Corfu and Evia. The current long heat wave shows no let-up. Temperatures are expected to rise over 44 degrees Celsius in parts of Greece. Fires spreading in Sicily forced Italy to briefly close Palmro Airport. High winds and tinder-dry vegetation mean firefighters are struggling in many areas to douse the flames and create fire breaks. At least one person has been killed in the Philippines after Typhoon Doksuri lashed northern parts of the archipelago, ripping off roofs, knocking out power, flooding long-lying villages, and displacing thousands of people. The powerful storm, which brought winds up to 175 km per hour as it slammed into the Philippines on Wednesday, is expected to sustain strength as it continues its course towards Taiwan and China later this week. China's Central Meteorological Administration said Doksuri is expected to move northwest at a speed of 10 to 15 km per hour and enter the northeastern part of the South China Sea starting Wednesday night until Thursday morning. The IMF sees the global economy gradually recovering from the pandemic and Russia's invasion of Ukraine. But there are still significant hurdles to overcome. Under the IMF's baseline forecast, growth will slow from last year's 3.5% to 3.0% this year, and next 0.2% is points upgraded for 2023 from the IMF's April projections. IMF's head of research Gorin Sas explained that while inflation is subsiding, central banks and policymakers need to remain vigilant and take prudent measures to lower debt and may need to continue hiking rates. To the more updates, before that, let's have a quick look into the highlights of the site. More than 50 pilot whales have died and authorities are racing to save dozens more after mass stranding on a beach in Western Australia. The pod was first spotted about 100 meters off the coast of Chenin's Beach on Tuesday local time, tightly clustered in what witnesses say was unusual sight. Once the whales began beaching themselves on the shore, wildlife authorities launched an emergency response effort in a bid to save them. Some 51 whales died overnight on Tuesday, with authorities trying to return the surviving 46 to sea on Wednesday. Some of Australia's worst mass strandings have involved pilot whales. 230 based themselves on Tasmania's coast in 2022, and 150 were stranded in Western Australia in 2018. With this, we come to the end of this news bulletin, but before we say goodbye, quick reminders of the headlines once again. Nepali Congress's ongoing Central Committee meeting set to conclude today. Party President Dewa to respond to raised concerns. Spread of dengue goes unabated across the country with more than 4,000 cases reported. Hospitals in Palpa lack test kits to diagnose infection. Russia delegation led by Defense Minister arrives in North Korea to be later joined by Chinese delegation to attend Penghang's celebration of the 17th day. Well, this is all we have for this moment. Until our next bulletin, have a good day ahead. Namaste.